I'm going to use this video to address false allegations made against me by the UTTP and malicious users who are part of Pyrocynical's subreddit who have been harassing me. These people have spread unsubstantiated accusations against me and pushed flat-out false claims that I am some sort of with baseless evidence, and today I wish to debunk the allegations and prove these people to be compulsive liars. Now, the first situation to cover came from Pyrocynical's subreddit r/Pyrocynical, where a user named Dupe had been proven to have used an account called OKChannel9175. Now, Dupe essentially made a post under this account name that I dated him when he was and I was 19 years of age, heavily alluding to the fact that I knew his age and yet continued nonetheless, which is simply untrue. These claims started to be spread like wildfire in the subreddit, with it culminating over 3,000 upvotes, with people slandering me as some sort of and even stating that I should be with other people even stating that regardless of if this was false or not, I deserve it. This of course all happened despite the fact that there was no legitimate proof provided whatsoever that I actually knew that Dupe was 12 or 13, and without anyone actually waiting to hear my side of the story whatsoever. Members of the Pyrocynical subreddit went under the idea that I was guilty until proven innocent. The problem was with that stance was the fact that they just spread false allegations against my name, because what Dupe negates to mention in his Reddit callout post he made was the fact that he lied about his age to me and everyone else on numerous occasions for over an entire year. You see, when I had first met Dupe in late 2023, he had always affirmed to me that he was 16 years of age. At this time, I would have been 18, making our age gap 1 year 11 months. Dupe always claimed to have been born on April the 10th, 2007, while I was born on May the 2nd, 2005. I'd like to clarify that the age of consent in the UK is 16, meaning that the age gap was not illegal, and a less than 2-year age gap is certainly not in the slightest. I'd also like to clarify that I asked for his age several times to make sure of it, and we only dated for a few weeks online as of mid-2024, when Dupe claimed to have been 17 and I would have been 19. We did not meet up. No were ever shared or I never sent any instances of content either, and the images that I sent in actuality were quite literally just extremely cringe, embarrassing comments. There quite literally was nothing else I'd sent to him, other than vent posts as well. There was only a plan for us to meet up in the future after I was able to properly confirm what Dupe looked like, because Dupe would always be extremely reluctant to ever reveal his voice on call when we played games together, and was also reluctant to share any selfies. With logs provided, I was always very inquisitive to hear what he sounded like. I would always tell him, dude, I want to try and hear what you sound like. I did not want to meet with anyone unless I could be sure of their age and what they look like, for specifically the fact that I may be catfished. And keep in mind too, Dupe is on record in DMs with me admitting to have created fake doc spins of himself with fake selfies, in which he used to convince me into thinking that he looked like a totally different person to who he really was. Fast forward to March 2025, and I expressed to Dupe that I don't like how secretive and weird he was, with Dupe stating that I will find out eventually to who he is, and that everything is fine. Then in response, I bring up how I'm starting to develop trust issues and that I'm really starting to reconsider if everything he said about himself was actually true. So I ask him who he really was. Dupe stated he wasn't who I thought he was, stating that he was the complete opposite and apologized for being so vague. I replied that I could not trust him with how vague he was, and in a massive sense of irony, he lied, claiming that he would never leak our DMs or backstab me because he respects me, so I could trust him. I then asked Dupe how old he was, to which Dupe claims 17 yet again, but he lied about everything else, closing off his comments by stating that he needs to consult his very close friends first before he explains everything about himself to me. This was then followed by Dupe the next day, sharing a statement on the 26th of March admitting that he lied about his age the entire time, and video proof is shown right now proving that this is real. Now, in this statement he made, he acknowledged the fact that it would screw with me mentally, as well as him apologizing for essentially lying about his age and catfishing me for an extended period of time, while ending his statement off profusely apologizing once again. Now, in regards to his apology, time revealed that that evidently wasn't the case and he wasn't actually sorry, because immediately what followed was Dupe going behind my back to leak these messages not only on his own account, but also to bad actors such as UTTP members, who then then started using these DMs out of context to harass me. I find it absolutely disgusting that members of Pyrocynical's subreddit shared these allegations without actually consulting my side first, and instead harassed me and defamed me for extended periods of time to deflect away from Pyrocynical's allegations. Even worse for them was the fact that the Google Drive link of all these DMs in which Dupe shares literally proves himself to be a liar. It's just the fact that none of these people actually bothered reading the messages inside this Google Drive. By examining the messages between me and Dupe, you can clearly see Dupe was consistently lying about being above the age of 16. One example is him referring back to old statements he claimed he made when he was 16, followed by him stating that he was working at Audi's as a job. Another message exchange shown is Dupe referring to college and that he will have to do it when he's 18, with me stating that will be in a year, right? To which Dupe replied yes, inferring that he was 17. I find it even more insane too that Dupe roped his close friends and associates into me in Roblox games and harassing and slandering me as some sort of Dupe is seen stating on Discord that his friend did all the heavy lifting in terms of harassing me and spamming me on Twitter, but he also himself tagged along. Now, this friend that Dupe was referencing was called Aros, and Aros actually messaged me himself on Discord and attested to how Dupe pressured him into this behavior. But when I'm justifiably angry at all of this and what Dupe subjected me to, he plays victim on Pyrocynical's subreddit claiming I'm harassing him. I mean, this is peak hypocrisy here. He was harassing me the entire time, and when I call him out, apparently I'm the one who's harassing? Like, what? Now, one of the main screenshots that have been provided that bad actors use against me is the fact that Dupe made his age present in his Twitter bio as 13, negating to mention the fact that he added his age into his Twitter bio after he admitted to me in DMs that he lied about his age. This is even something James Sir admitted to, who is someone who Dupe is closely associated with. In Twitter messages, which have also been recorded to prove their legitimacy, Dupe is seen admitting that he lied about being 17, to not only me, but to also James Sir. And private Twitter messages even proved the fact that I cut off Dupe after he revealed his actual age to me. I stated how disgusted I was and how sick I felt, and that we should absolutely part ways. Dupe is even seen in private messages apologizing to me once again and stating that he would not leak the messages, because I highlighted how people would probably take a situation like this against me, use it in bad faith, and use it to deflect away from either their own allegations or someone who they're supporting who has allegations. And Dupe very conveniently did just that by allowing the Pyrocynical subreddit to spread these lies against me to deflect away from Niall's own allegations, in which will be covered very soon. And keep in mind too, Dupe doesn't have the best history either. In DMs, he had randomly posted what he claimed to be, vehemently claiming that it was, and that the person he originally got it from, the original poster, even claimed it was himself. I was disgusted of course by this, and clearly extremely uncomfortable, as you can see in the messages, and I proceeded to report his account. Dupe is also someone who is extremely and bigoted, and at the time I didn't understand why they were so edgy and didn't take things seriously at all, and I admit it was a massive red flag looking back on this all. But once I learnt of the fact that they were much younger than they claimed to be, it now makes a lot of sense to why they acted this way. It was because they're extremely immature and they should not have had unregulated access to the internet at such a young age, in which they claim they did themselves. Now, despite the fact that Dupe did all of this for clout and attention and wanted to interject himself in a serious situation like the Pyrocynical one to muddy the waters in his own favor, I do personally apologize and take accountability for what transpired. And despite the fact he ardently claimed to be 17 numerous times, I should have asked to see proof of his provisional driver's license or some form of personal identification, and I'll make sure as to not be as irresponsible as I was in a situation like this again. Now, I do want to bring up that when I made it known that I was going to be doing a response video, Dupe is seen now going on damage control and messaging my mods, stating he wants to apologize to me and remove the Reddit post and move on. And it's like, what? You defamed me to thousands of people. The damage is already done. Why would I ever, one, wish to speak to you again after the insane level of manipulation you just pulled, where you got thousands of people on Pyrocynical's subreddit to defame me and harass me over lies? And two, why would I ever want to speak to you when quite literally in private you were feeding information to horrific people and also admitting to harassing me? Now, another screenshot which people tried to originally use against me because they believed it was in reference to Dupe was actually me speaking to Dupe in private DMs about someone else named Katanana. At the time, I stated how I believed that they were 13, but as I will disclose later, he was actually 14, and the age gap between us was 2 years 1 month, according to Katanana himself. Now, this screenshot was maliciously twisted by members of Pyrocynical's subreddit into claiming that this was some other I dated and was with, and therefore alluded to me being some sort of serial when this was literally not the case at all. If anyone had actually read my initial statement, I mean it's right there, you could clearly see me state that I had no attraction to them whatsoever and that I did not know their date of birth because I was not interested in dating them, and instead I was dating someone else called Burger at the time. Also, by examining the messages, you can clearly see that I also stated that Katanana themselves claimed I never of them, and that YouTubers I consulted with in regard to this situation claimed I did nothing wrong themselves. To further add credibility to my story, I stated in these messages how I got Katanana out of a possible relationship with Burger, who is considerably older than them, basically saving them from being. Now, by examining an archived 2022 Discord messages I've had with Burger, who was 16 turning 17, stated to me that Katanana was convincing him to be in a relationship and sending him images, and with what I knew in private by other sources, Burger was reciprocating too. I stated that I was personally very cautious with who I spoke to and told Burger to not with Katanana under any circumstances because of their age, and convinced Katanana in private to not engage with Burger because the age gap was very concerning. Furthermore, by looking at messages sent on the 8th of March 2022, Katanana is seen stating how he was turning 14 soon. This effectively meant that the age gap between me and him, even if he actually was 13 at the time, would have still been less than 3 years regardless, as I turned 17 in May 2022. But notice how I stated if he was actually 13 at the time. Well, this is because in actuality, me and Katanana had gotten a call in 2024 where he attests that I did nothing wrong to him whatsoever, and also the fact that he was actually 14 in 2022 turning 15, not actually 13, having been born on June 2007. So regardless, even if he was not being truthful in this case, both age gaps would have been below 3 years, and I literally had no interest to ever want to engage with them or have a relationship with them regardless, and Katanana even acknowledged this too. Here's a few clips.
It's June 30th.
June 30th, alright. 2000 and what?
2007.
In 2022, you always used to tell me you were 13 years old.
Yeah, no, that was actually a lie. It was because I had like a really high voice back then, so I used to tell people I was 13 to be able to I don't know, I guess it was just like more like attention seeking back then when I was young, cause I don't know why. It was like I said, I was weird back then. I wasn't the best mentally. I was always confused, lying, weird.
So I never did you, right?
Never. I would remember that. I would remember
I never dated or had any intention to date you either, right?
No, you wanna know what's funny? You were always the one being like, no, I'm not dating. I think people back then all the time, I think how you're saying even now, how people are taking it out of context on Twitter. I think they were even doing that back then, so you had to tell people and all that, and you even told me and the VC to you won't ever try and do that stuff ever. I was quotations 13 back then, and you said yourself, trust me, you said I don't want to go somebody that low. I want somebody at least my age or 2 years older than me, something like that at least.
This always just a major case of a subreddit owned by a massive YouTuber being Pyrocynical made to directly slander and spread misinformation about smaller creators while defending Niall despite him having considerably larger age gaps with in which will be revealed soon enough. This egregious double standard this subreddit has is insane, and I've taken it upon myself to report users who have been harassing me and my fanbase and managed to get a lot of them taken down. This subreddit has also in the past shown completely faked screenshots claiming me to be a And Pyrocynical's fanbase believed this without any question. They didn't ask for video proof, they didn't ask for message logs, they just took it as fact. And the fact that slander like this is allowed on a subreddit with over 400,000 members is insane, and something needs to be done, either with the mods present inside of the subreddit, or Reddit needs to take action themselves. Users have also spread claims that I had a cult and got to. But yet again, this is another attempt at slandering me with no evidence whatsoever. They can't even recite any sources at all. People just see this comment with a serious claim attached to it and just upvote it. Anyone who even requests for evidence to any claim made against me is just mass downvoted and ignored. It really is a hive mind of people desperately willing to discredit me and my research against Pyrocynical at any cost in a desperate sense of damage control. These people just wish to create ad hominems against me to attack my character instead of the validity to any of my claims in which will be presented in my document on Pyrocynical soon enough. The situation is so easy to debunk because it is attributed to the UTTP, who have been harassing me on Twitter for months, and I'll make a video addressing them very soon. Essentially, a UTTP named Zyfrox went on eating Twitter, aka EDTWT, and had told people to Parlo into their and then started spreading those images and spamming it in my Twitter replies to scar people. This had absolutely nothing to do with me. I mass blocked this guy's account numerous times, but he keeps making more and more and more, and there is no proof to my complicity in this whatsoever, and yet they run with it regardless. The UTTP have also created fake inspect elemented screenshots of me, basically saying horrific things on Twitter, in which massive Roblox YouTubers allegedly believed, which is insane because anyone with half a brain would know that I would never say this kind of stuff. And the UTTP also created fake Discord messages with a Parlo account messaging a girl named Tiana inappropriately, who herself is a victim of a UTTP higher-up called FPS. And even Tiana attests herself that she was forced to spread around and create these allegations and admitted that they were fake. It's just insane that Pyrocynical's subreddit will stoop so low that they'll slander and harass creators they don't like, misinterpret and take things I said in statements out of context to villainize me, and then use information provided to them from literal to openly lie and forge fake screenshots against me. Now, to finish the rest of this situation off, the Pyrocynical subreddit brings up Homotopia and my associations with Nathrix, and these points are so interchangeable that I just want to address both of them at the same time. I have a 167-page Google document addressing Homotopia in its entirety and how I was not active in the server whatsoever. In the document, I take accountability where I need to, prove that the original person who made the exposed document on me was a and I also take fault for entrusting Nephorix with moderator permissions. It also goes over my case in regards to Nephorix, but summarizes it a little bit. And I have even made distinct clarifications on my Discord that I am working to gather evidence on Nephorix and covered how they me when I was a I've also been in contact with other victims of Nephorix too to rectify my past actions and associations with her. Once again though, the proof is all out there, but Pyrocynical subreddit don't actually wish to consult my side or read my side of the situation. The document is in there, it has all the proof, and they just don't bother reading it, and instead only wish to continuously lie about me regardless. I wouldn't be surprised after this video if they just continue to peddle these lies or just create new ones and take absolutely zero accountability for their actions whatsoever. And I think this comment explains the mentality of most of the members in their subreddit. Even if Dupe is lying, I don't care. Parlo deserves to be dragged through the mud. I said my piece and debunked the false allegations. Hopefully this does well to clear the air, and as for Pyrocynical's subreddit, I feel like you all need to do a massive background check on how some of you act, especially in regards to how many of you openly post furry in the subreddit with absolutely no consequence. Also, it would fare best in your interest if you listen to my side of the story first before slandering me as a over stuff that simply isn't true. But anyway, for clarification as this video ends, this video is not intended for hate, harassment, or cyberbullying whatsoever. This video is instead intended for educational and informative purposes only, going over the entire situation as a whole in a documentary style context. I'd also like to clarify that this video is intended for more mature audiences as well, as more mature themes are being discussed, so viewer discretion is advised. All necessary content has been sufficiently blurred, and this video complies with all of YouTube's community guidelines, including the YouTube Child Safety Guidelines. And with that being said, thank you all for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new, and comment your opinions down below about this situation, and join my Discord server if you wish to contact me or get any updates. My Discord is discord.gg/Parlo. And with that all being said, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. This has been the truth of the entire situation. Goodbye.